We're going to talk and answer the question about why you need to care about your mitochondria, why you need to work on getting your mitochondria tested, why you need to do things to help it, and kind of refute some of the things that are out there. So first, for those who don't know, the mitochondria is responsible for so many different functions in terms of your health. It's responsible for energy production. It's important for calcium regulation. It helps with stem cell regulation. Stem cells are the cells that help your body produce numerous other types of cells. It's important in terms of DNA regulation and getting rid of DNA mutation. It helps your body maintain protein function the right way. It also is going to make sure it's part of your whole system in terms of dealing with oxidative stress, which is the damage from reactive oxygen species, which can happen with so many different things. What we're finding literally every day is there's a study that comes out that shows that the mitochondria is associated with everything from Alzheimer's to diabetes to fertility to polycystic ovarian syndrome to Parkinson's disease. A new study just came out, and it just goes on and on and on and on. The big question now that's coming out is, well, we can't measure it. There's not hundreds and hundreds of studies out there yet. That's not doing anything about it. That totally angers me. We have hundreds of studies showing that damage to all these different processes are associated with it. We can measure oxidative stress by getting certain lab tests. They're a little bit obscure. You have to talk to your doctor about it. You can get an OHGG test. You can get an F2 isoprostane test. You can get a lipid peroxidase urine test done. They probably are not going to be covered by insurance. They're going to run a couple $100s, but it's a really good marker of oxidative stress. We can have an idea where your telomeres are. Beyond that, we can detect inflammation through a CRP and other markers, myeloperoxidase, and so on. So we do have a general idea how things are going. Are we going to be able to measure how well your protein metabolism is functioning? No, not yet. NAD levels are starting to become easily testable. We can start to test for CoQ10 levels. Do we know the exact perfect level? No, not yet, but things are getting really ready for prime time, and because of the link to all the different illnesses, it's time to get a head start in moving forward. It doesn't mean that you need to do everything that I'm going to talk about here, but it's something that you definitely want to be aware of and discuss with your doctor, and to do the things that you need to do to help maximize the mitochondria. That's what we're going to talk about. First, lifestyle stuff. Talked about it before. Make sure that you're getting the 7 hours of sleep. We know now, again, maintain your circadian rhythm, getting up the same time every day, trying to eat, in theory, doing time restricted eating from a window like 8 to 4 and 9 to 5 actually may help with a lot of different functions, because we know every organ has its own circadian rhythm. It's not just the one through the suprachiasmatic nucleus. So what we need to do is you want to be as regular as you can within your lifestyle with your sleep and circadian rhythm. Exercise is going to do many things. It's anti-inflammatory. It's going to also help in terms of mitochondrial biogenesis, which is producing more and better quality mitochondria. It may help with mitophagy, which is the recycling of the mitochondria. And then doing things like breath work, decreases inflammation, reduces oxidative stress. So exercise is so important. Cold immersion, about 2 to 3 minutes, a couple times a week. We want you to get to 11 minutes, is also going to induce mitochondrial biogenesis. Use a product like urolysine A, really good product for inducing mitophagy, which is the body's recycling of the mitochondria. Again, I've done separate things just on urolysine A, but it's been linked with potentially helping Alzheimer's, joint pain, recovery from athletic performance, and much, much more. That part is very important. You want to work on your oxidative stress and limit that damage, because that's going to damage your electron transport chain, which is the energy part of your cell. It's going to lead to mutations in your DNA, which obviously is going to lead to things not functioning as well as it normally would. It's going to lead to problems with stem cell production. It's going to just may potentially even affect hormones and cause brain fog and memory issues, and it just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs. So what we want to do is you want to be taking episodically antioxidants. Antioxidants are something that you should not be taking on a daily basis in perpetuity. You may want to do it for 2 or 3 months and stop. So again, the antioxidants that I like, I've talked about before. NEC I love alpha lipoic acid, and I love melatonin. Those are really good antioxidants. Vitamin C is a good antioxidant. I'll get the question about glutathione. Glutathione is been shown, its absorption is about 5 to 6 times better when you do it IV. If you do, I don't care if it's super liposomal, whatever the company says, if that's all you can get, look into it. there's better ones out there now that are in terms of antioxidants. So that's in terms of what we're doing for oxidative stress. Other things that you want to make sure that you're doing to help you maximize the mitochondria is, again, we talked about decreasing inflammation. Everybody's heard the term inflammaging, or people who listen to me or probably have heard that term, meaning that inflammation, systemic inflammation, is going to lead to increased aging of your cells, increased aging of your muscles, increased aging of the brain. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is decreasing inflammation. That's breath work, that's doing a sauna, that's doing red light therapy, that's taking a supplement like curcumin, taking high doses of fish oil, peptides like BPC 157, thymosin beta 4 to decrease inflammation. Other things that you want to be doing to maximize the mitochondria is you want to feed the power system. You want to feed, it's like for anybody who's seen, you want to feed Seymour. Bad Broadway reference, but you want to feed it. What that means is you want to make sure it's working effectively. We talked about getting rid of mutations and getting rid of the oxidative stress. You want to give it what it needs. You can only make so many chocolate chip cookies if you don't give it enough chocolate chips and flour and so on. Same thing with the electron transport chain. You want to make sure that you have getting enough NAD, which decreases over time, giving enough CoQ10, which decreases over time. You want to make sure that you're boosting cytochrome oxidase, which is one of the biggest parts of your electron transport chain. That could be boosted through red light, that could be boosted through methylene blue, which also boosts the ATP transport chain. There are peptides, MOTC, but the new one that's kind of really gained claim to fame is SF31. It lies on the inner membrane of the mitochondria, and it is a great antioxidant, as well as it will help in terms of boosting the performance of that chain. It also has anti-inflammatory and brain boosting benefits as well, but it maximizes mitochondria, and that's the buzzword of this video here. So we talked about oxidative stress, we talked about powering the cell, we talked about inflammation, we talked about mitophagy, which is the breakdown and getting rid of the bad mitochondria of your cell. You also want to do things to help regulate how your body breaks down proteins and make sure that it's getting rid of the bad ones as fast as it can to make sure that your body doesn't have to use them. If you're making too many bad proteins at one time, your body just can't get rid of it. It's like having a conveyor belt that's going too fast. It's kind of like the old I Love Lucy episode where she just can't keep up with the conveyor belt at this point. So you want to make sure, there are things that you can do to help reduce what they call endoplasmic reticular stress, or what they call a big medical word, proteostasis, which is actually one of the hallmarks of aging. There are 12, which is we discuss in other videos. Things you need to know. Number one would be you want to decrease inflammation, which we already talked about. 2, we can do things like spermidine may help with endoplasmic stress. Green tea may help as well. So we talked about doing the endoplasmic reticular stress we want to decrease. Easy for me to say. Those are about 6 different things that we're doing to help your body maximize the mitochondria. Also getting the lab work done, also maximizing your exercise or sleep is going to help. Then there's the whole molecular metabolism and molecular health, metabolic health of your system. You want to make sure that your insulin is well regulated, because that is going to affect how well your mitochondrial functions. You want to have the appropriate amount of nutrients, like things like magnesium and calcium, through your diet and or supplementation. And then by resting and getting the appropriate sleep, letting your body heal, all are going to help maximize the mitochondria to help your body function better in that moment, and hopefully limit the risk of things like Alzheimer's, PCOS, infertility, diabetes, obesity, Parkinson's disease. The list just goes on and on and on and on of what we're now linking to mitochondria. We're linking heart disease to mitochondrial health. There's certain things that we're doing now in terms of urolithin A and certain of the peptides like SF31 that have been linked specifically to fixing the mitochondria and helping heart damage from cholesterol, damage from the heart attack itself, as well as improving the health of the blood vessels. Those are tons of different things that you want to do and look at to help maximize the mitochondria. So if you have any questions, feel free to put in the comment. If you want to hear more about maximizing your mitochondria and improving your health and lifespan, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more.